Good to have you with us, miss. When Lord Drillamont arrives, we're to confront the Inquisitor. If he refuses to go quietly, we'll need to use force. Are you prepared for that eventuality? You needn't tremble so, my child. The righteous shall enjoy everlasting peace in Heloni's halls. Only the wicked. But why? Why must I die? By all that is holy, I swear to you that I have never questioned the teachings of Helone. Inquisitor, release the maid and come with us. My Lord Drillamont, what is the meaning of this interruption? You are aware that I am at present conducting an interrogation, are you not? Silence, villain. I name thee heretic, murderer of Inquisitor Guillaume and countless innocents. You are a traitor to Ishgard, to your own kith and kin. Your sins are beyond measure, beyond redemption. Ah, grave allegations indeed, but you will find your logic is flawed. How can I betray that which I owe no allegiance? No, Lord Drillamont, my conscience is quite clear, I assure you. I wonder, can you say the same? You whose hands are black with the blood of those whose only sin was to question your nation's crazed crusade. You speak to me of Ishgardian innocence. Ha! All are complicit in these crimes, for all live their lives by the Archbishop's lies. But I know you will not hear me, deafened by dogma as you are. If you desire retribution, Lord Drillamont, then come. Let us see how Ishgardian steel fares against Dravanian fang and claw. My glamours dispelled. Your plans lie in ruin, heretic. Choose your words wisely, for they will be your last. Ha! You may not recall the many Ishgardians I've sentenced, but the families of the dead will never forget. Blood has been repaid with blood, and for that I am content. My only regret is that you yet live. But your end is nigh, foreigner. The dragons within the stone vigil will rend you asunder, and when you are dead, White-Brim Front shall fall. Defiant to the last, leave the body for the crows. His ilk deserves naught better. I must apologize for involving you in this sordid business. You should never have been asked to intervene in Ishgardian affairs of state. Rest assured, I've not forgotten the matter which first brought you into our midst. It's past time that you were reunited with your heirship. But this is not the place to discuss such matters. Pray visit me at White-Brim Front, and bring your associates. Where have you been? The false Inquisitor has been slain, has he? Yes, well, he was a tale anyways, like to end in bloodshed. Though you've overcome the latest in a long line of unfortunate impediments, I would ask you not to revel in your victory just yet. We can celebrate once we've secured the Enterprise. As I'm sure you'll agree, it's past time we entered the Stone Vigil. Pay Lord Drillamont a visit and remind him of his obligation to us. Sid and I will follow anon. We owe you all a great debt of gratitude. Had it not been for you, the heretic masquerading as Inquisitor Guillaume would still be among us, free to prey upon the innocent. I see now that I was a fool to dismiss your claims out of hand, but you must understand, it seemed too much to hope that the Scions of the Seventh Dawn still lived, to say nothing of Master Garland. Never have I been happier to be proven wrong. Well, it is gratifying to know that someone has derived a measure of enjoyment from your error. Now, if you have no further objections, we would appreciate it if you would permit us to enter the Stone Vigil and retrieve our airship. Yes, of course. It's the very least I can do, given all that you've done for us. But entering the outpost is the least of your concerns, I fear. You speak of the Dravanians that now hold the ruin. In part, yes. I should explain, shortly after you first arrived, I had my men scour the old records. They confirmed that an abandoned airship had been seized by the soldiers garrisoned at the Stone Vigil in the days following the calamity. As far as we've been able to ascertain, it was still in their custody when the outpost was overrun by the dragons. Whether it was damaged or destroyed during the battle, I cannot say, nor can I give you any assurances that it's not been removed in the intervening years. For far too long, the ruin has served as a Dravanian foothold in Coerthas, from which they've struck out at us with depressing regularity. Though we've pushed them back behind the walls, we have as yet been unable to drive them out, and I cannot say when the situation will change. Or how it will change. Forgive me, Lord Drillmont, but there is no guarantee that you will prevail. In any event, we have not the time to wait. We will have to secure our property without Ishgardian aid. I see. Well, that may be for the best. I will inform Sir Nathalane of your impending visit. May Heloni guide you, Scions. Lord Drillmont has apprised me of the situation. You may enter the Stone Vigil whensoever you will. Look, it's the Enterprise. Yes, just beyond that enormous sleeping dragon. The dragon is not our concern. We've come for the airship, and only the airship. Sid, you and I will sneak aboard the Enterprise and prepare it for launch. You stay here and keep an eye on the beast. If it wakes, we may need you to provide a distraction until we're ready to depart. You can manage that, can't you? That settles it then. Shall we, Sid? As you command. So you mean to slay Garuda next? Interesting. Most interesting. And you are aware that her strength greatly exceeds that of your previous primal conquests, a testament to the fanatical devotion of her followers. The Ixal are nothing if not zealous. In spite of your past achievements, I labour to believe that you will best this foe. Yet only a fool would underestimate the great bringer of light, slayer of Ifrit, bane of Titan. If any mortal is capable of defeating the Lady of the Vortex, it's you. Win or lose, the battle should at least make for an entertaining spectacle, assuming, of course, you live that long. Out for now, the dragon. Confound it all. Let us see how well your blasphemous gifts serve you this time, Crystal Bearer. Are you alright? Speak to me. 12 be praised. I feared the beast had injured you. I see now why the others rated you so highly. When you were caught in the midst of that etheric bubble with the dragon, I was all but certain my next mission would be to find a new champion. Wow. Thank the gods for sparing me that inconvenience. I've quite enough to do already. Which reminds me, Sid is working on the Enterprise as we speak. Let us go and see what he has to say. What say you, Sid? Will she fly? Yes, though it will not be a pleasant ride. Well, I dare say it will be no more unpleasant than staying here. 'Tis a pity the Enterprise is not in a better state, but if she will allow us to quit this place, I shall not complain. If all are in agreement, let us return to Gradania. Though I'd like nothing more than to set course for the Howling Eye. It's plain the Enterprise is in no condition to weather the storm. She must needs be repaired if we're to proceed with our mission. This is all so familiar. I know this airship. If I could just... Bah, it's no use. Let's go. Ah, how I longed for the more agreeable climate of the Twelves Woods. Yet I will not deny the Holy See had its charms. Endless detours aside, our Ishgardian jaunt proved quite an adventure. Alas, our work is far from done. We still have an airship to repair and a primal to slay. No rest for the heroic, eh? Am I taller than Sid? I'm taller than Sid. It calms me to look at her. It's as though I've been reunited with a part of me I never knew was missing. Hardly surprising. You did design and build her. I bear good news. The Seed Seers have granted our request to house the Enterprise. We may take as long as we require to repair her. Of course, it would be rank folly to take one moment more than we require. Garuda, lest we forget, grows stronger by the hour. If we're to have any hope of wresting this benighted realm from her talons, it must needs be soon. Though I'm no expert on the workings of airships, it seems plain to me that the Enterprise suffered much from her time in the wilderness. Am I not correct, Sid? You are, frankly. It's a miracle she carried us this far. As you know, the Howling Eye is encircled by a raging tempest, apt to turn proud trees to matchwood. Our battle will end before it begins if the Enterprise cannot weather the storm. Given time, I believe I can fully repair her. But if this tempest is as fearsome as you say, even that may not be good enough. Confound it, there must be a way to brave the fury of the elements. The elements, but of course, that's it. We work upon the element itself. Using the power of a corrupted crystal, we could clear a path through the storm and spare the Enterprise a battering. I see. You propose to utilize the properties of a crystal to alter the elemental aspect of the barrier. It seems so childlessly simple in retrospect. Though mayhap not to you. We speak of the manifestations of over-aspected aether that can be found throughout Eorzea. Since the calamity disrupted the land's etheric currents, such crystals have become comparatively commonplace, which has been a cause of great woe, as they are known to warp etheric energies, including those of living organisms. The point is, we could theoretically use a corrupted crystal to convert the wind-aspected aether comprising Garuda's barrier into aether of another aspect, one she cannot control. With certain modifications, the Enterprise should be able to deliver us to the Howling Eye in comfort, however hard Garuda blows. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. All of this rests upon our ability to procure a crystal with the necessary properties. Have you any idea where we might acquire one? No, but I know a man who might. A scholar by the name of Lambertaint, who resides in Camp Drybone. Strange as it may sound, I met him during my time at the church. Well, Mark met him, I suppose. Whether out of pity or for want of a more willing listener, he would talk to me for hours at a time about his etheric studies, corrupted crystals being his pet subject. It was a result of these conversations that poor Mark was observed to possess an uncommon knack for the theoretical science. I need you to return to Thanalan and seek out this scholar. Sid and I will set about repairing the Enterprise in your absence. Why yes, I'm Professor Lambertaine. Beg pardon? You wish to hear about my research on corrupted crystals? Truly? Well, nothing would give me greater pleasure than to discuss my work with a fellow woman of science. Ah, so rare it is to find fellow intellectuals in this region. 'Tis even rarer to find one capable of comprehending the nature of corrupted crystals. Come to think of it, there was another, a hermit to whom the church had given sanctuary. Curious fellow, unsociable, rather daft at first impression, yet possessed of an amazing affinity towards the scientific pursuits. But to the matter at hand, did you say you wish not to conduct field observations, but to harvest a corrupted crystal? Egads, woman, at least take the necessary precautions so that you do not suffer from exposure to its harmful energies. I'm beginning to wonder if you've sufficient qualifications to handle such hazardous materials. Still, your ignorance is somehow endearing. Luckily for you, I've precisely the means by which these inherent dangers may be averted. Simply store the crystal you seek within this warded pot to protect yourself from its deleterious effects. Though I suppose you'll be bombarded with its energies until you place it within the vessel. Well, perhaps it shall motivate you to work quickly. In any case, take the pot to Hahasako, a student of mine monitoring the flow of aether at Highbridge. Explain to him your quest, and he shall instruct you in the finer points of crystal harvesting. Well, what have we here? A containment vessel? Why, this is the handiwork of Professor Lambertaine. You thieving knave, I shall call for the... Oh, you say the man himself lent it to you? Then you must have sought me out per his instruction, which means he believes me experienced enough to expound upon his explanations. At last, the recognition I so rightfully deserve. O frabjous day, Kalu Kalay, that I should be chosen to guide this woman. Yes, I, Hahasako, greatest of the Professor Lambertain's pupils, shall see that you successfully quarry your quarry. Your timing is impeccable. In fact, for I was just preparing to procure corrupted crystals from the burning wall for my personal research. There, the devastating destruction caused by the calamity has blessed us with the bounty of sublime specimens. But something tells me that naught but a perfect peace will satisfy your high standards, in which case you must needs descend to the deepest depths. Amidst the flowing waters and the murderous Mirrorites lies the most fantastic formation I have found thus far. Take this highly advanced researcher's tool and use it to separate a small fragment from the large cluster. Place it within the warded pot and bear it back to me for inspection. The path which leads from Burgundy Falls to the base of the burning wall is treacherous and terrifying, but advance with appropriate caution and you shall surely survive. I see you've come galumphing back. Have you the crystal, then? What a prodigiously large and lovely crystal. Professor Lambertain will doubtless chortle with joy when you present it to him in person. Oh, and upon your return, do remember to recount how I helped you with your harvesting. My keen scholar's sense tells me that you've obtained a corrupted crystal. Am I right? If you would grant me a moment to examine the crystal. Ah, it's as you desired. A corrupted crystal overflowing with wind-spected aether. Remind me, for what purpose did you intend to use this crystal again? What? To breach a barrier comprised of wind-aspected aether? Oh dear, that may prove problematic, as this crystal would only serve to strengthen the barrier. I suppose I'm at fault for not inquiring as to your objectives from the start. Had I known your intent, I would have never sent you to Hahasako. But what is science if not trial and error, and can you truly say that this failure has taught you nothing? Think, woman, you now understand the methods necessary to safely collect a corrupted crystal. You will doubtless have no difficulty doing so once more. What's more, the crystal you collected can serve as an invaluable resource for ethereal studies conducted by the students of Baldessian. You've heard of them? Well, I don't mean to boast, but I have a professional relationship with the organisation. Not as equals, of course. I would never be so bold as to claim that level of expertise. Are you all right? Your eyes seem to have glazed over for a moment. Anyway, I shan't keep you from your task. You've still a corrupted crystal to find. Corrupted crystals of sufficient size and strength are not all that common, I fear. Fortunately, one of my other students, Sana, claims to have discovered another promising site in eastern Lanosia. Wait, that's not correct. Eastern Lanosia was where she was nearly killed when wandering too close to an imperial castrum. Ha! Now that made for an amusing anecdote. It was western Lanosia, Faros Sirius, on the Isles of Umbra to be precise. I can't recall her exact reasoning. Something to do with one of Dalamud's talons or some such nonsense. What I can say for certain is that she's still in Aleport, attempting to gain access to the Isles. Why not travel there and see if Sana's inquiries bear fruit? If you can look past the crass and violent ways of the local pirates, you might find your time there to be quite pleasurable. Oh, and do not forget to take your makeshift warded pot, lest you think you're unprepared for the task. Corrupted crystals? Madam, I've no interest in being the butt of your jokes, so if you've no other reason for addressing me, kindly leave me be. Well, I'll be damned. Professor Lambertain did send you. Beg your pardon, it seems we got off on the wrong foot. I'm Sina, greatest of the Professor's pupils, which is doubtless why he bid you seek me out. Indeed, I'm an accomplished scholar with an extensive background in... Oh gods, just listen to me prattle on and on. I must have given this introduction a dozen times by now. As I told the Professor in my missives, I believe that the area surrounding Faros Sirius is replete with corrupted crystals of exceptional strength. Unfortunately, I've yet to test my hypothesis, as all access to the Isles of Umbra is prohibited at present, for reasons unknown to me. You see, my attempts to acquire this information are often met with annoyance and disdain. It's rather puzzling, since I always take the time to explain my motivations in great detail to the subjects of my questioning. Mayhap you will have better luck wresting the information from these yellow jackets. I've all but given up at this point. Oh, you startled me. Don't you know better than to sneak up on a person at a time like this? What was all this fatuous gossip of spirits and spectres haunting the Isles of Umbra? Just because I know it's nonsense doesn't make it any less frightening. You keen on travelling to the Isles of Umbra? Bloody elves, lass, are you drunk or just crazy? Ain't nothing there but death. Death and more death. The Isles of Umbra? What interest have you in that god-forsaken place? Ever since we were forced to abandon Faros Sirius, the Isles have become naught more than a graveyard for ships unable to navigate the shores, and a purgatory for the souls dragged down to the depths with them. Ah, you've returned. Tell me of your findings. Really? Infested with the undead, you say? That is a very, very interesting development. Excuse me for a moment while I gather my thoughts. Worry not, my friend. I've given your findings some thought, and I've concluded that this talk of spirits is naught more than local folklore. As for why all travel to the Isles of Umbra is restricted, well, mayhap it's considered too dangerous, owing to the abandonment of Faris Sirius. Yes, well, anyway, while you were questioning those yellow jackets, I paid a visit to the local pub, since even an esteemed scholar like myself enjoys dulling her wits on occasion. It was there that I heard tell of a man named Skyfrine, who was recently detained after returning from, wait for it, the Isles of Umbra. This is the first I've heard of someone actually travelling to and from there, so I'm curious as to how he obtained permission. Mind having a chat with him in my stead? He was arrested after all, so I'm somewhat reticent to approach him myself. I have to go back. She calls to me, sings to me. Tell Mimi Doa I'm sorry. Give him this. He was right. He was right. Or you could release me. Yes, release me. I'll go and tell her. Let me go to her. What did Skyfrine have to say? That's not terribly helpful. I couldn't care less how much he misses his favourite bar wench. But what was that about a man named Mimidoa? Wait, I know that name. That's that bastard who grabbed my ass the other day at the pub. Well, if you want to give him that feather, be my guest. I'm not going anywhere near him and his wandering hands. Another Nishia, are you? No, then what are you? Speak up, missy, I can't hear you. Bugger me, is that what I think it is? Nah, couldn't be. You found this, you say? Where'd you say you found it? Skyfrine, you say? Was hoping to have a word with the lad, but it sounds like there's naught left twixt his ears. He was supposed to help patch up Faris Sirius, he was. Company sent me to supervise the lot of 'em. Weren't getting work done on their own, see? Half of 'em walked off, half of 'em ran off, half of 'em up and vanished. What's that? You be looking for passage to the Isles of Umbra? Why didn't you say so? I've been thinking of dispatching someone to take a look on behalf of old Mimidoa. Tell him how the land lies. Ain't nobody been interested till you came a-calling. Whole port's up in arms about spirits and so forth. If I had the gill, I'd hire some sellswords and let 'em sort it out. But you'll do in a pinch, you will. Show this parchment to the skipper and he'll see you there and back. So you went and had a word with Mimidoa? I hope the valuable time you saw fit to waste amounted to something. You mean that disgusting creature was Skyfrine's superior? I find that hard to believe, but this writ of passage does appear to be genuine, so it must be true. I must say it's a relief to work with such an industrious woman as you. I look forward to hearing of the discoveries you'll make on the Isles of Umbra, without me. Fine, fine. I fail to see the justification of dragging me along on your journey, but if you insist, I'll go as well. But 12 is my witness. If you leave me behind to be devoured by some horrid abomination, I shall come back to haunt you. Ha, take me to the Isles of Umbra, she bids, as if it's as simple as... Oh, I see you've got a writ of passage. All right then, climb aboard. This doesn't seem all that bad. I'm not saying I'd like to build a summer home here, but... Oh, the hells with this. Here, take your pot and go on without me. You've harvested corrupted crystals before, right? So it isn't as though you require my assistance. Speak to the man guarding the gate. I'm sure he'll let you in. Now, if you would please excuse me. Beg your pardon, madam, but how did you come here? Access to this island is currently restricted. An old pot? I'm not sure I follow. Oh, I see. You wish to harvest a corrupted crystal. Sorry, friend, but you may have to return empty-handed. The writ Master Mimidoa gave you may grant you access to the island, but only authorised personnel may proceed past this point. Why, you ask? Look up and see for yourself. When that giant mass of crystal struck the lighthouse, it caused severe damage to both the structure and the machinery within that once powered the beacon. Aye, contrary to what the small folk would have you believe, the fires of Faris Sirius were not the product of a mage's thaumaturgy or a colossal arcane bomb, but an elaborate contraption fueled by ethereal energy. Repairs are still ongoing, but it's anyone's guess when they'll be complete. What's worse, all work has ceased since rumours of the Walking Dead drove off our entire crew. Not that those rumours are incorrect. I've observed the fiends from a distance, at the ship graveyard to the south. What's drawn them to our shores is still a mystery, though. I'll make you a deal. Help me unravel this mystery and I'll bring you your corrupted crystal. In fact, I shall begin searching for one that satisfies your requirements. As for where to begin your inquiries into the situation, it so happens that a party of 3 adventurers came ashore not long ago, seeking to scavenge valuable trinkets at the ship graveyard. I'd be surprised if they knew nothing of the undead infestation, so it might behoove you to question them. You saw 'em too, right? Dead people, just shambling about without a care in the world, except when they do seem to care, that is, and start shuffling towards the water. Gods, that voice, that single fleeting verse, I can still hear it. Stay clear of the southern shore, friend. It took every ounce of my strength to resist. It's sure for the taking. 5 bleeding years worth of wreckage and their cargo. But those queer dead things and that voice. Actually, the voice was quite nice. Oh, I can't do drunk talk. This talk of an alluring voice is disturbingly familiar, as if... But that's impossible. They're all dead, aren't they? But if they have returned, that would mean... Oh, beg your pardon, I was just, thinking about something. Which reminds me, I received word that Master Mimidoa would be arriving any moment. Apparently he grew frustrated, waited for the sweet young lass with skin as soft as phoenix down to return, which I'm assuming is you. I don't know what sort of arrangement you had, but you should probably go and explain yourself. What's been keeping you, initiate? I ain't getting any younger, you know. There, some honey-voiced harlot's been calling out to folk that wander near the ship graveyard, and it's stirred up the dead and all. Bloody elves, this takes me back to days as a cannon boy sailing under Mistbeard. But they wouldn't dare, would they? Not after the lesson we learned 'em last time. Bah, they bloody would, though, wouldn't they, those brazen old biddies? Some folk said as the first purge would be the last, but I knew deep down in my bones as this day would come, and come it has. I'd burn me bum ear of sirens behind all this. What does that mean? I'd bet me a bum ear of sirens behind all this. Okay, this is so hard to read. Nay, not one of the sanguine variety, Nishiet. I speak of the other kind, them what's got feathers and lure sailors to a watery grave with their sweet, sweet song. Oh, but it don't end there. No drowning's just the start. See, even in death, a man stays bound to the beast, forced to do her bidding till his corpse can't do it no more. 'Tis a fate I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, 'cept maybe in drink, and I'd regret it after. Any road, 'tis up to us to stop this hell's-born hussy afore she takes another soul. Course, we can't send you marching off to war without these. The siren don't have no power over a man as can't hear her song. 'Tis lucky for you I carry a spare pair, and lucky for the both of us I'm a superstitious old sod, eh? She ain't coming to us, so we'd best head over to her, to the ship graveyard, initiate. Oh my god, this is so hard to read. I feel it in my bones. If she passes near the shore, she's sure to spy the campfire and come looking. Just a matter of waiting now. I'm beginning to wonder if some sly bugger ain't spun us a yarn here. I like the music. Quiet, do you hear that? 'Tis her. Look out over the water. She's come, Nishiet, she's come. Quick, lass, shove them plugs in your ears and get ready for a fight. Soon as she realises you're deaf to her ditties, she'll call on her thralls, and we'll be up to our necks in corpses afore you know it. I'd be screwed because I was immediately like, oh, I like the music. Welp. Hey, am I alright? I'm better than that, initiate. Happy as a sailor in a whorehouse, I am. Of course, I'd be happy as a sailor with 2 Watsits if we'd gutted the songstress, but you can't have everything, can you? She'll not come crooning round here again, though, not for a while, any road. And if she does, well, we know what to do, don't we? Thanks for the help, oh, bugger me, I've clean forgot your name. Don't recall having no initiate by that name, but if you're not me old mate, what's name, why have you been so bloody helpful? Ah, never mind. Be seeing you, lassie. You mean it was a siren? But how were you able to resist her song? I see. I had heard that Master Mimidoa was involved in the first purge, but I never actually... Having survived an ordeal like that, I can't blame him for carrying earplugs around with him. Anyway, I have something for you. The corrupted crystal you wanted, safely sealed within the pot, just as you requested. Please take it with my compliments. Oh, it's you. Welcome back. You're looking remarkably hale, I must say. And more importantly, alive. You are alive, aren't you? Aha! The conquering hero returns bearing a gift. Might I have a closer look? Impressive. Very impressive indeed. Yes, I think you'll be quite pleased with this specimen. Congratulations. Seldom if ever have I encountered a corrupted crystal composed of such a volatile overabundance of fire-aspected aether. What? You wanted a corrupted crystal composed of ice-aspected aether to counteract the effects of a raging wind? Well, this specimen won't help you there. Anyone who knows anything about the elements could tell you that. You'll just have to keep looking, I suppose. Great. Could you send me to the right person, please? Don't fret now. I know exactly where to find a corrupted crystal comprised of ice-aspected aether. An associate of mine in Gridania has been studying the effects of one such crystal on living beings. What's that expression? I thought you'd be pleased to hear this news. This is not another wild dodo chase, I assure you. And what's even better is that this time you wouldn't use that warded pot of yours to protect yourself from the crystal's energies. Hayden's findings suggest that it's quite safe. Why, you ask? Well, let's just say that it's undergone a unique process that's rendered such precautions unnecessary. Anyway, don't let me keep you. It's been a pleasure. Come back and see me sometime, alright?